Now Naruto is actually angry at Jin for not actually making his decision. So he transformed into his Metal Cluster Hopper mode, and they actually battle, which on the edge of Daybreak City. So when he's about to finish him off, he was actually stopped by Horobi, in which he actually won't let him battle Jin again. Meanwhile, Aisu actually informed Zero One, about the Zaia spec users are on a rampage because of the hacking that Naki had Yua actually did, in which we actually seen Fua actually in the hospital, by which the news actually breaks out when the Science Specs users are on the rampage, which Guy actually informs them about the recent event that actually happened. Now, we actually knew what this all means, but he actually denies any claim of the Spec users being on the rampage. So he actually tell them that to to protect his reputation. So we actually knew what he actually had to do, by which he actually knew what he might need to do, because he actually realized that it was actually Horobi who was responsible for the Cyspec hacking rampage. But we saw Naki went to the hospital room with Fua and Yua, in which he revealed that he actually wanted to use the arc to actually snap Naki out of the control of it, by which he's not actually a tool. Meanwhile, back at the vegetable production, we actually saw Koshi actually was the one who was actually using the side spec, who also went on a rampage, that he actually told his father, who's who actually told him not to, to stop depending on the tool, which is actually the human gear, because of the recent rampage that he actually did. But Naruto actually tried to convince Kochi about what he might do. So he wanted to feel responsible for what actually happened, for the plantation to be back on his be back on his glorious days, which we knew what he wanted to do, but we actually see what he actually has his mind on what he might do. However, we saw Naki did Orto jokes, which Fua actually tried not laughing himself. But we actually saw on the forest of Daybreak City, we saw a guy with his army of battle raiders and Horobi with the army of rogue Humagears foot soldiers. As they transform, Dowser and Horobi actually battle with their foot soldiers, as they actually battle because of what actually happened. And as the battle rages on, Guy was managed to defeat Horobi, but we actually knew who was going to join the battle, which Orto actually came and he transformed into Zero One Metal Cluster Hopper mode, and he actually battled Dowser, which he actually told him that tools don't need dreams. But he actually proved him wrong, in which he actually wanted to tell him that dreams do come true for androids and humans. But he actually wanted to do what he wanted to do best, by which we actually see how Dowser was defeated by Horobi when Naki actually appeared, which all the battle raiders have been transformed back into their human state, in which Guy had no other choice but to retreat. Meanwhile, we saw Horobi actually was impressed by Aruto as he and Naki would actually leave. Meanwhile, back at the plantation, we saw Midori actually was rebuilt, and the actually, I mean, Kochi, his father, Midori, and Aizu actually did Ortel's signature catchphrases. Meanwhile, back at the headquarters, the three members of the Dark Web group have actually just started to rebuild Raiden, as he actually was welcomed into the group as because of his resurrection, in which we actually knew the return of the Metsuboujinrai.net has actually been returned. Now, the battle between Horobi and Dowser was intense, as the both groups have actually waged war. But we actually knew what this could all mean when we actually see what's going to happen next. Unfortunately, Kamen Rider Zero One and Kira Major is actually have a hiatus and will actually air special episodes because of the coronavirus, but they will return after the hiatus, which is actually gonna end in 2 weeks. So anyway, like this video, subscribe for more, and comment what you think about the episode. You guys can also follow me on Twitter, Instagram, Tumblr, and my Facebook page. Until then, this anime guy joining you saying sign out. Laters, and have a great Mother's Day.